Hello there everybody, you're the audience, my name is SuperSonicBlur, and welcome back to the next episode of our Pokemon Black Randomized Hard on Nuzlocke. Last time, well, we did a bunch of stuff, and this time, things are going to be slightly different. After recording this entire thing, I come to export the audio, and realize I haven't actually started the recording, so that's gonna be fun. So this is gonna be a post-commentary side of things. We're gonna be taking on Victory Road, Victory Mountain, all this area. We're gonna be taking on this area, grabbing a Pokemon and taking on all these trainers. And I'll let you know now, as someone from the future, you're in for some fun shenanigans that's gonna happen. But first off, we have the first trainer here. Before going to the Pokemon League, let me test my skills. Okay, well, let's test your skills then. So, Ace Trainer Shanta, only 2 Pokemon. I thought, yeah, it's gonna be, oh, never mind, here we're gonna lead with an Entei. So yeah, leading off with an Entei, things are going well to start things off, shall we say. Still, only level 45, I wasn't particularly worried. I just thought, yeah, let's, I got Geb 4 times resistant to fire, so we should totally be fine here. Switch on into Geb and not too many issues. We are still fairly far with regards to the level cap. We've got 9 levels-ish worth of play for a lot of these lots, so hopefully things should all be good there. And like I said, we know that this is going to be a fire Pokemon user, so we get one shot there with Entei, which was fantastic. And whatever they bring in next, I'm sure we'll be fine. I mean, fire types, we'll be totally fine here. Oh wait, it's a Volcarona, okay. Now, I gotta admit, at least Shanta has some fantastic Pokemon to go into the Pokemon League with, but could you not? Really? Also, as well, this episode is going to be highly edited, just because there was a lot of stuff of going backwards and forwards, because this Victory Road's kind of a maze and twists and turns, and I really like that. I think that's great. Very difficult to do post-commentary over the top of, and B, I get lost. First of all, I get lost, which is unfortunate, and second of all, it's just cutting it down for a lot of this. This was like an hour and, an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, so cut that back down. As you can see from the video length, it's been cut down quite a bit. I assure you that you haven't missed anything. Literally, it's just me running backwards and forwards going, where the bloody hell do I go? And this is part of the reasons for the twists and turns here. Listen, you can slide down the cliffs here. Watch me. Yeah, you can just yeet yourselves down the mountain, which is quite something. Quite something. And I'm sure that there's something useful for that. The real thing that I'm curious about is, how did that Ace Trainer get up there if you have to yeet yourself down? How do you do that? I had to go down here, or down this thing, to get across to do that, and then they didn't, so how did they make their way up there at that point? We are just checking for items as well. We'll be getting most of the items that are around here, so don't worry too much on that regard. And we're gonna surf on over, find ourselves a couple items, as you can see up here. You know me, it's OCD. You gotta get the items. It's free stuff. Who doesn't love free stuff? Let's see there. If I hadn't got that, I wouldn't have had that prism scale. Now, am I gonna use it? Probably not. But do I have it? Yes. Admittedly, that is a bit, hoarder mentality. And I did miss the, in the water there, I did miss that little blub, so that was unfortunate, but I had a repel on. I actually set this up. I thought, before we start the episode, I'll get all that stuff done, all the repels and things, and then I remembered, oh, my repel's worn off, so this is where I was like, well, let's get an encounter. So, went and thought, screw it, I'll do it in here, and this is what we end up with. A freaking Skarmory! Now, I'm not gonna lie, I cannot recreate the sheer ecstaticness that I had at finding not only a Skarmory, but realizing that we have Blissey and Skarmory at the same time. But I assure you, much hype was had, and that's probably the reason why literally nothing's happening on screen. That's me, whooping and hollering as an excited person does. And I was so excited on this, I said, you know what? No, I have Master Ball. Get in the Master Ball. I was not even risking this thing. There was no chance. I did not want to catch this thing, so I was like, get in the Pokeball. So we got our Skarmory, absolutely fantastic, ridiculously good coverage, fantastic bulk for physical defense, absolutely brilliant. And then we just got to come up with a name for Skarmory. Despite being clad entirely in iron hard armor, it flies at speeds of over 180 miles per hour. The armor bird, get it? Skarmory, Sky Armory, yeah. And we're going to name it Morrigan, or the Morrigan, as you can see up from there, from the top. But the Morrigan is pretty damn good old Pokemon. The thing that I was then wondering is, what do we replace them with? Because it's kind of Taylor Jr. and Arachne. Taylor Jr. has some pretty okay coverages. Arachne's got some really nice bulk to them. Both of those two have kind of been being used as like these pseudo tanks. Just mainly leaning on Taylor Jr. for that. The poison dark typing was really, really nice. We have like dig and things like that, and that just lets us sort of sit back and go, yeah, we're fine to just sort of slow hold onto all this stuff. But you know, 146 defense here. Arachne was a is still really, really nice on the look and pretty fast as well. To kind of go back with that. The Ice Fang's been fantastic. Acrobatics really, really nice as well. With Sword Stance, there's a lot of play here. So I'm still kind of wondering whether or not I would want to swap out Arachne. I think I'll probably have to play a little bit around with the old team builders and things. The other option here was, well, maybe we do Taylor Jr., because everyone else kind of feels pretty solid. Like Hephaestus is sticking on the team. Kukunoji can stick on the team. Geb's really nice coverage, so we keep them on. Kraken at a push could be one we look at, but it's mostly between Taylor Jr. At this point in time. So however, like I said, I wax lyrical a lot between these two, and Armanar over it. Taylor Jr.'s been really nice, and the fact that we have the Black Sludge as well has been really useful. But, you know, as much as I don't want to say it, I'm sentimental. It's our starter. It's the furthest any starter's ever been. And, you know, sure, it's not the best in terms of its bulk, but I'm slightly sentimental, and it's very good HP, so you kind of got to balance it out. Do you want the higher HP on Taylor Jr. plus the Black Sludge regen, or do you want the natural bulkiness, slightly higher speed, to go with that side of things? So, you know, it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other at this point, but I liked what we ended up with here, and whatever we end up using in the future, it doesn't deteriorate or detract from any of the things they've done. You know, Taylor Jr. has been with us since the start. Arachne's got us through some really, really nice points, being a false swipes user and having great bulk. We really like that. So, next up, we have another trainer who I thought I could be sneaky and get around, but immediately I screwed it up. And an ace trainer like me has pride, so I won't lose. Yeah, you're gonna lose. I assure you, you're gonna lose. Because there's still, like, what, 30 minutes of this video to go? Yeah, you're gonna lose here. Or maybe you're not. Maybe this is where we get swept here. Well, it's a Mine Fu, or Mine Xiao first to start things off. Still in the level 45 region, so it was not too bad. At this point, I was like, I may as well just use Night Slash, because I think it's Psychic Fighting. But I don't remember. Either way, not very effective with a crit. Was absolutely fantastic. There's the high jump kick, which kind of hurts a fair bit. You know, that did more than I would like to have admitted that did. So I was like, do I just go Night Slash then? I thought no, because that was a crit. So let's just take the flamethrower and guarantee an out. So we do that, which wasn't too bad. And, you know, this is what I was on about with Taylor Jr.'s bulk. You know, even taking that move is just, they're fairly bulky. Reasonable looking stats now. Again, this is me going, oh, it's 191, maybe the speed. But this, I don't understand the point of this move. Memento cuts attack and special attack. I didn't even read that part. I said the user faints. I was like, nope. You're not doing that. You're not. I am not getting rid of that. That was just not even a point of contention there. Not even slightly. And next up comes out an Ember. Not too bad on the old thing. The firefighting. It's kind of a staple, and I'm really glad that sort of Gen 6 onwards he started to move away from that. We got the interesting side of things where we got Fire Psychic, Water Dark, you know, those kind of things. I thought that was really interesting. I like the switch up on things. Chespin though, part of the shit. Unfortunate. And that was my first starter. Was a Chespin, mostly because I had a friend of mine called Taylor who was like, oh, I can't get it. So I was like, you know what? What starter would you go for? And then, oh, I think Chespin looks kind of cool. Or I think they said they like the grass ones. I was like, fine, let's go Chespin. And then I regretted it. And that's why I actually call things Taylor Jr. is to remind me never to trust other people, because other people are ill-informed and emotional. But anyway, we took out that fight without too much trouble. Get his super repel. I thought I didn't have one, so quick heal up on the old team, mostly because Arachne took a little bit more damage than I would have liked them to take, but still, everything's all good. So yeah. Tippy-top condition for everyone. It's still 58 super potions. We're totally fine on that. And now we're just trying to climb further up on the victory road. But talking on the regards of people being ill-informed and emotional, stock markets! Yeah. Recently, I kind of got swept up in the whole AMC thing. I'm not gonna lie. I got swept up. I missed a good point to get in on, and my brain went, ooh, if it does that again, I want to be in on it. So I'm in. You know, I'm not in like a stupid amount. I went in with this thinking, I'm going to end up losing the entire amount that I make here. And I'm okay with that. Remember, never bet. Think of it like a casino or any kind of betting situation. Never bet more than you'd be prepared to lose. That's important. Still though, first, we must go on with a trainer, which isn't too bad. If this is the trainer I think it is, a couple of these trainers are memorable because I can. It might be Tiffany. No, Tiffany started the Spiritomb, and this made me think of Cynthia, and I'm like, oh god, I'm like, oh god, what else you got? Because Spiritomb's actually not got any weaknesses and has 2 immunities, which is pretty impressive. I think it's Dark Ghost, I want to say, or Ghost Dark. Either way, it's immune to a bunch of things, if I remember correctly. In fact, you know what? I can look this. I can look this up. Like, let's actually look up what it is. It is Ghost Dark. So, no resistances. The only thing it's weak to is Fairy, but immune to normal, fighting, and psychic. That is ridiculous. Like, genuinely stupid. Oh yeah, and then they come out with a Reshiram, because why not? I know. And I'm just there like, for God's sake, this is like the 4th Reshiram we've seen. Can we not? But then I remember we have Geb, who's 4 times resistant to fire, so, you know, we go okay. We go okay on that side of things. But back to the stock side of things, it's been such a, like, I've been sort of sitting around it for like a week, and, you know, I'm gonna date it a little bit. It's been so weird seeing some of these things. Like, I'm holding the reason why I went in was fuck the hedge funders, not anything of like, oh, I can make money. It was like, I want to fuck the hedge funds over because I hate them and they suck, and you should hate them as well. But it wasn't for any other reason. Like, I'm gonna squeeze them and make all the money. Yeah, I went in with the concept of, hey, I could make a little bit of money that helps me get to America to move, because I am currently in the process of trying to move, which is a whole other fiasco story. I'm dating this quite hard, this video, but, you know, if I get, like, if I come out of this with, like, you know, a couple £100, £1,000, whatever, that sets me to go, hey, I can come out, I can head out to America without any issue whatsoever. So that was the general plan on there, as Reshiram is continuing to be somewhat of an annoying Pokemon. Dragon Breath being a pain was not fun. and they didn't have any kind of dragon resistances, which is kind of one of the weird things. Dragon as a type has gotten so... I feel like it was because they wanted to keep this like legendary status on that kind of type for like legendaries and stuff, and then you just slowly get more and more dragons come in, and it's like, this is really weird. Because you look at it, all the dragon, like in this game, both the dragon type legendaries, like, oh my god, it's a legendary dragon type Pokemon, not just a legendary Pokemon, specifically dragon type. And that, I think, is always going to be really kind of interesting to look back on for some of that stuff. Like, you think of, like, Kyogre, you think Groudon, both of those two, and then you get Rayquaza comes in, and it just beats both of them, and they're like, whoa! It's like, it's a dragon type, it's what they do. And then you got fucking things like Dragonite, which is like, hello, I'm a dragon. I'm a mailman. It's like, god fucking damn it. Really? Still though, it's I love Dragonair and Dratini. Like, those two look so cool, and then you get this fat blob, and it's just like, why? It's so just why? Why do you exist? Same with, like, it's shiny. Like, you get this really cool purple, and it looks awesome, and then you get this green fucking blob. Ugh, I just can't. I can't. Why do they do that? It makes me sad. It makes me sad. Yeah, I do like this side of Victory Road as well. This idea of the higher you climb, you can then come back down and set up these little shortcuts. I think that's really cool. That's kind of fun. I think that's also, again, like I said, a really nice little mechanic idea for sorting some of those things out. Now, we did actually manage to make our way past that spinner, which is fantastic. We get ourselves a binding band in the process. I'm like, what the fuck does a binding band do? And I have absolutely no idea. I think it increases the amount of time that moves like bind. Yeah, band that increases the power of binding moves when held. So that would be great if I actually had any of those in any regard. But I don't, so I don't really care. Oh, but no, it's... yeah, and then we have the repels refer. I was so scared thinking that this spinner was going to catch me. I was like, oh no, when my repel wore off. And then I thought, yeah, let's see what else we can catch here. What else could we have had aside from a Skarmory? And we could have had a Golbat. Turning that into a Crobat? Mwah! Could have been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing as well. Super fast, really solid Pokemon. Another friendship evolver. But I was like, yeah, that would have been okay. I wouldn't have minded that. That's certainly one that I would have minded. And then just again we get a Zubat. Now, admittedly, these are, again, this is assuming that we get decent rolls in with the evolution. But, you know, kind of fitting that in a cave we get Zubat and Golbat. No Crobat though. So I think so far we've definitely had the best Pokemon. Talking about the best Pokemon, you are not it, Garbodor. You are not it. I was glad to see that we would have been able to dupe clause that. They do like showing up every so often. So there was a Lilip as well, which is kind of cool. That one, kind of interesting on things like Lilip and Cradily. Not really sure whether or not I'd end up using those. Who knows? Maybe if we ever do anything like that. I say that like I don't know what my next the next series is going to be after this, because again, a little bit of a sneak peek. When I say that I'm post-recording this, I'm post-recording this having finished this series. I'm in the process of editing it right now, so this is part of the reason why I've come back to this so late. Is this lets me sort of not forget things, but remember less details so that I can actually sort of have conversations. But I know what the next series is going to be, but I don't like to start recording until I've got most of the editing done, because then I can sort of build up a nice little buffer sort of things. It's mostly to make sure I don't burn out, because I'll be honest, I can burn out pretty easily. I get hyper-absorbed into things for very short periods of times, and I'll do a shit ton of stuff with it, but then I'll immediately just poof off doing other things. And I gotta admit, with Smite Season 8 coming out and everything, oh my goodness, it's been quite a stretch. It does. I do find it quite interesting how, as well, the speedrunning stuff is actually done pretty well as well. So I look forward to getting on with more of that. Maybe I already have. Who knows? You know, I've got a couple ideas in the head. You know, maybe like some speedrunning guide. Maybe doing some other maps, but. It's been kind of fun. It's still kind of fun. I look forward to doing more of those things as time goes on. But Probo Pass into Probo Pass, and I'm like, this is kind of easy then, because I can just brick break through both of them. I expect them both to have sturdy at this point, and if I remember correctly, yeah, they both do have sturdy. So this was fine, but. Now, I think for this game, the introduction of putting healers on routes really let them feel more free to just make these routes so big and expansive. And I kind of don't mind that a whole lot. It is a little almost quality of life thing. Sure, it can suck to get most of the way through like half of a route and then get to it having already gone back and healed, but at the same time, it does mean that you hit that sort of curve again of, well, I can just heal up halfway through a route, so you don't have to go as far back for that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool, and I do really personally enjoy that. And again, I think this is probably out of a lot of the Pokemon games that I played, which is not many, this is my favorite Victory Road. I really like this idea of having a huge, great mountain that you're climbing up, being able to slowly make it up to the twists and the turns, and seeing some kind of, progression from it, and then being able to come back down, use the strength, and clear an easier path to do. Because again, it's that same idea as having the, like the healer, like at the halfway point. It's this thing of, oh, well, now that I've gone down here, I can come back up if I need to sooner. The only thing I will say about it is a little bit trial and error-y that I'm not a huge fan of. Like, not a huge fan of at all, for some of this. So, I do think that there's, some things that I would like to see improved, but for the most part, it's still pretty fun and pretty good. We've got another item down here, and that is a Swift Wing. Still got a bunch of moolah from that side of things, but back up on the top side of things, I ended up running into the spinner, and oh boy, I remember this fight. So we start things off with the Rayquaza. I'm like, oh shit, that's a Rayquaza, but then I realized I have Ice Fang, so I'm fine with this, and I'm like, alright, we're fine. Totally didn't panic, and then I got a crit because, Arachne, brilliant Pokemon. Coming out with a crit to lead things off. Level 52 comes in quite nicely, and then just send out a Kyurem. I'm like, okay, great, okay, no, that's totally fine. Let's just say fuck you to the ice, to the ice, yeah. Like, I'm like, all right, well, fuck me, I guess. Because that's not fun. So I'm like, I've got to get out of here, because I am 4 times weak to ice as well. So let's not and say we did. I go to Hephaestus expecting an ice type move, and there's the ice beam. So yeah, we're totally fine on that. Didn't get frozen either. And this is really the first time we get to test out Hephaestus. They are faster than us, which surprised me a lot. But we do get the Aura Sphere off. It does a good bit of damage, if I'm not mistaken. Even when we're physically offensive, the special, the fact that it's still stab, it's still amazing. Like, oh, just mwah. Chef's kiss. Oh, and then we just ended it off with a Latios, so not too bad, I was like, oh, that's just so annoying. Because now I gotta switch again anyway. So Hephaestus finally got a showing, but we don't get to see much from them. I decide to drop into Taylor Jr. Mostly because, hey, Psychic type. Guess what? You don't get to do anything. They went for a Protect, which I was a little concerned about. I thought, oh god, does this thing have something like Stall? But it just has Protect. It can use Protect twice in a row, which is unfortunate. And yeah, technically it would have used it 3 times in a row, which I find very annoying. But it makes me wonder then what other moves it had, which then I came to the realization of, hey, does this thing have only Psychic moves and Protect? And since it's read that I'm a Dark type, it can't do anything but Protect, which is great for me. Unfortunately, it was also annoying as fuck for me, because now the only thing this thing would do is Protect. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go Flamethrower. This thing has got enough more Protects in a row than I think I've ever actually used the move Protect. Oh boy. That was quite something. That was quite something. Still, finally beat that. Those three, just, of all the three, I vividly remember this. Oh, that was quite something. So now I made our way further back up. We end up outside here. We get a Persianberry, which is just a berry. So put that all in the case, and then we're going to move on slightly further. Go out onto the right-hand side. Now we got a choice. This is where I'm on about that trial and error side of things that I don't like. I don't like having to guess which one of the two ways I need to go. I'm not a fan of that, personally. I think that's a bit shitty for that side of things, but at the same time, it's not a huge loss going any which way, so I was... It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great either. With that trial and error. So now we head down here. We end up in our in the next little one, our next little area here. Still with some good repels. We're actually running fairly low on repels. Yeah, only down to our last 10, but we shouldn't need it too many. Not too many more. We should be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine at this point. I always went and bought more anyway. But what was I talking about before that? Before that. I've completely lost my train of thought, which is not the worst thing in the world. I mean, technically, if I want to go back on the whole Stonks side of things, I could talk more about that, but I really don't know anything on the Stonks. Hey, going into the Stonks, I've learned how to read a candle. That's it. I know that there's a lot of the phrase Fibonacci charts. Don't know, don't ask me anything else. I know when it's red, it's gone down. When it's green, it goes up. And that there's a whole Fibonacci thing, so kind of interesting. The main thing I know right now is we diamond hands because fuck the short stock, fuck the hedge funds who tried to short the stock. Which a brief explanation on what actually that means. If I buy a stock at 10 quid and it depreciates in values to 5 quid, I've lost £5. If it crashes and goes to 0, I've lost 10 quid. But the most I can lose is however much I invested, which is just 10 quid. Also, Latias here, just on the off chance. So the most I can lose is that. However, the way short selling works is, I want to borrow your stock, which costs 10 quids. I will pay you. I'll pay you 5% per day that I've borrowed it, and then I'll give it back to you after a set amount of time. Now, my goal here is what I do is I buy your stock at 10 quid. I sell it. I've now got 10 quid. I've got to buy it back at some point, but hopefully it goes down. Now, if the price goes down to 5 quid, I can buy it back at 5 quid, give you the stock back, pay you the quid, and I've made 4 quid profit. Oh, by the way, Latias here on this this veteran, so quite something. If I remember correctly, this is the veteran who's like, I like standing here and watching trainers fail as they try to make the climb. It's like, bitch, you have a Latios on Latias. Like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, the thing that's happening though is if the price of the stock goes up instead of going down, the person who short sold it will have to buy it back, and they could make a loss on that. So if they thought the price was going to go down to 5, but it instead goes up to 15, they've made a loss of 5 quid. Now technically there's no upper bracket of how high a stock could go. I mean, there is, but in terms of relatively, there's a theoretical infinite amount of loss that they hold up. So if you buy stock and you buy a lot of the stock, so much so that you stop the liquidity of the situation, or stop the solvency and liquidity, I don't know which way around those two words go, then you end up in a situation where you get a squeeze and the price goes bing! Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yes, the trial chamber's here. Yes, I randomly I had no idea this was here, so I randomly stumbled into this room like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, oh Christ. So I did a little bit of training or switching around. False Swipes is back on a couple people. We're leading with Kraken because Thunder Wave is still a move that we have access to. And our legendary Zapdos, which throws a spanner in all my bloody works because now immediately I've got a problem where I'm leading with a water type. So it's like, well, okay, well, I guess the first thing we're doing is losing tempo and switching out of Kraken. I was not pleased at this. I was very much not pleased at this. on that side of things. So it was unfortunate, but you know, I'll take it. The Zapdos, kind of an interesting one for the legendaries there. Like it's not like when you think of legendaries, you think like, oh my god, it's super powerful. But this one was kind of just there. Like base 100 speed, 125 special attack seems pretty okay, but it's like, what really are you using it for? Like, it's not gonna, it doesn't hit super great. Electric flying is okay, but not great. It just doesn't ever feel like it does a whole lot. But you know, Zapdos certainly could be an interesting Pokemon if we end up using it. I'll admit, I'm trying to say things that aren't gonna spoil things for the future. I don't know if I have or I am in any way. So that's gonna be kind of interesting to make sure that I don't. I might bleep some of the stuff out. I might bleep it if that ends up happening, but I don't think I've said anything. But no, we're gonna false swipes down the Zapdos. Leave your comments down below now if you think we're gonna end up catching this thing. You know, give me some of that sweet YouTube engagement rate. Make YouTube think that my content's worth pumping to other people. I mean, I think it is, and I like it, and you know, maybe you like it. I don't know. Do you like it? Comment down below and let me know if you like the content. But either way, I think at this point I checked what Zapdos had for moves. I don't think it has an electric type move. It only has charge as its electric type move. I think I got a little confused over the concept of what Zapdos can and can't do. For trainer Pokemon, the AI says if it finds a super effective move, it'll use it. Or it'll go for a move that it knows it can see a kill with, or it'll go for a super effective move that does the most damage. Wild Pokemon don't do that, they just randomly use moves, as far as I remember. So, because of that, I was like, oh, it's fine, it goes to charge, it's not going to do anything. And we do get the paralysis off, and now we get to start throwing up some balls, or switching at this point. And I was like, I don't want to do this, because I still want to get false swipes in, but I don't know whether or not I can afford to go back into Arachne. They're just too low. Kukunochi has false swipes on. I put that on onto them, but you know, flying, grass, kind of a bit of a problem. So it was a little bit of a risky call here, but I did decide that I would rather lose Kukunochi than Arachne at this point. Or I think that I'd rather not lose anyone, but I think Kukunochi can survive the damage going in, so there's not too much of a problem in that regard. So they should be fine. There's false swipes, you can see it's on 10 PP because we trained it or switched it up, but we get a paralyzed Hax, which is absolutely amazing. And then we just go for another one, and bam, now it's on that 1%. And let me pull up the old catch calc here for this gen. So it's what? It's exactly 1 HP. It's it's exactly 1 HP. It's a Zapdos at level 42. So it's a 0.83% chance to catch this thing in a Pokeball. But you know, we're not gonna use Pokeballs, are we? No, we're not gonna do that. Instead, I've got 9 Dusk Balls. I'm like, you know what? We're in a cave. Let's use those. That seems like a good idea. Also, as well, excuse me, it's actually 1.234% chance, which is kind of awesome. I like that. That's a nice little neat thing. But I was like, oh, the Dive Ball. And now we hit the fun part, which I have sped up, which I like to call throwing lots of Pokeballs, because that's the only damn thing we can do. For the Dusk Balls, we've also as well got in a cave. It's a 5.525% chance. It was quite something, I will say. Just constantly going through, and I was like, oh, when do I want to start using timer balls? The highest chance that the timer ball has is about 7. So even then, catch rates on legendaries are sillily low. Like, it's genuinely terrifying how low some of these things are. I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? Do I want to use any other kind of balls? I'm like, well, I don't want to use timer balls just yet, so I'll just use some other balls as Geb gets consistently lower and lower. And I'm like, do I risk it? And I was like, yeah, I risk it. And I got very lucky with the risk. I'm like, no, that's enough. Geb, I'm not losing Geb for a Zapdos. So we'll go back into Taylor Jr. who can heal up. And now it's just rolling the timer ball. Still didn't get it, which is most unfortunate. And it's like, try another timer ball. And it's like, nope, didn't get it. Third timer ball. Let's see if you want to go in the third timer ball. Nope, don't want to do that. Do you want to go in the fourth timer ball? No. Like I said, very low chance. I was so annoyed at that last one. It's like, you go into 3 and then to none. Like, come on. But finally, after however many balls it took, this took like 8 minutes or whatever. Non-sped up footage. Finally, we get the Zapdos. We get it caught, and I was, I was happy with that. I was happy with that. That we were able to catch the Zapdos. I was like, oh my god, it's finally over. How much money did we just pump into this thing? But it's a legendary Pokemon that is said to live in thunderclouds. It freely controls lightning bolts. Do I want to give a nickname to Zapdos? Yes, I do. We're going to call this one Ligon. The Chinese, which means Lord of Thunder, or Lei Shen, is the god of thunder in Chinese folk religion, Chinese mythology, and Taoism. So I thought, hey, that's kind of a cool name. Let's go with that. So yes, we have now a Zapdos, which is pretty awesome, as we make our way up to the top now of the Victory Road. At this point I'm like, oh, there's a dude there. Let's be careful. Let's make sure we don't accidentally screw ourselves. We'll heal everyone back up using the lemonades now, because you know, we got them, we may as well use them. All that time ago we still bought them. Christ know how heavy that backpack must be with like, what, 30 lemonades in it. All that kind of stuff. Oh, then there's this. There's like, hey, there's a Pokeball. There's an item down there. I'm like, sweet, is there? And there is. But unfortunately, you have to go down this twice. Which is, again, really annoying. But we got Psychic, which is pretty awesome. We made our way back up. We also found Stone Edge as well. Now, Stone Edge is one that I actually ended up teaching to Arachne, because I'm like, yo, that's kind of sick, you know? Like, Stone Edge, not too bad of a move. I found it, yeah, high critical hit ratio, 100 power, rock typing, 80 accuracy, but you know, it's pretty good. I was thinking about teaching it to Festus, but like, no, we don't have the room space for it. But Arachne, however, we can teach it to Arachne. So when I put that on instead of the false swipes, it just made a lot of sense putting that on. Obviously, if we get Earthquake, and I think this thing could learn Earthquake, I don't remember. If we ever end up with Earthquake, that could be a move we put on, but for now, that's all we need. And then I head back down to the bottom, get the item. Did I even go back down? I don't know whether I cut that out. Either way, we made it to the Pokemon League. The item down the bottom, I don't think it was worth it. I think it was like a berry. So I just cut out from that. But yes, into the Pokemon League. The Pokemon League is every trainer's greatest challenge. You might want to prepare here, because if you lose even once, you'll have to start all over again. I was like, yeah, if I lose, then we just lose forever and I have to start everything again. But yeah, this is a really nice. I like the fact that they put this up here. I think that's really cool. A load of stuff that's really, really useful to have for us. And as well, just every single Pokeball, which I think is also pretty great. So yeah, as you can see, we got a reasonable amount of money as well, about 300,000, which is pretty great. But yeah, this one I was like, oh my god, we're in the Pokemon League. Can I get an item here? Can I get a Pokemon encounter up here? I don't think you can, which is unfortunate, but that is where we are going to end off this episode for now, ladies and gentlemen. Next time, we'll be taking on the Pokemon League. But for now, my name has been SuperSonicBlur. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and to share this stuff so people know that it exists. You guys have been a fantastic audience, and I shall see you all next time.